Last time, he rescued scientists from an underground lab, saved a village from a dictator, and escaped Budapest with the family. We dig into another trifecta of chaos this time, where he saves a photographer, goes up against a crooked casino owner, and serves as pest control for an entire plantation. Oh, and a few more surprises along the way. So let's rewind to some more MacGyver. Season 1. In the Gauntlet, the opening gambit takes us to a random unnamed country where he's sent to retrieve a map. Also, in the voiceover, his scouting background and Minnesota upbringing are brought up, both also true of Richard Dean Anderson in real life. That map gets him out of trouble several times, but wait a minute, it just got really sturdy all of a sudden. Mac escapes in a waiting hot air balloon that just so happened to be already ready to go. Uh-oh, one of those crack shots got a lucky hit. No, you would not hear air leaking out of a hot air balloon like that. Mac has to think fast and using duct tape and the map goes to patch the hole. Hey, look at the tethering rope. It's still attached. But of course the map and the tape save the day, and Mac drifts off to safety. Mac is sent to an unnamed Central American country based on TV geography. It could only possibly be one of two countries. He's to retrieve a photojournalist named Kate, played by Robin Curtis. Trick is in the audience, you know who that is. That's Lieutenant Savick from Star Trek 3 and 4. She does a good job here, even though her character does complain about MacGyver's lack of a gun. The mission seems simple enough. Get more evidence of a corrupt general dealing with an arms merchant, and get that information back to the States. That arms dealer, Dave Ryerson, is played by the legendary John Vernon, a stage-trained actor with over 210 credits to his name, including 1978's Animal House, Dean Wormer.
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
And that corrupt General Vasquez, well, that was Gregory Sierra, a National Shakespeare Company alum with over 130 roles to his name, mostly in television, including Barney Miller and Sanford and Son. They begin their escape using a camera timer and a little bit of plastic explosive. Upon reaching the town, they realize the newspaper owner had been handled. They need to escape again, using a diversion of candles, firecrackers, and a bell. They head out of town. They get out in front, but Ryerson and Vasquez are fast in pursuit, and Vasquez is pulling out all the stops. They're going to be found. Oh, nice driving, Mac. Now you've done it. They have to spend a night together, and ladies' man Mac, well, you know. In the morning, she destroys her favorite camera, knocking out a guard, and they approach the border. Wouldn't you know it? It's blocked. With men approaching from behind, they have to think fast and head back to the barn. While there, they rig up the Jeep to create a smokescreen, gather fuel barrels, and head back to the hill, just as the guards arrive from behind. That smokescreen works as planned, and they begin rolling the fuel barrels down the hill, causing many explosions. They hide in the large wooden barrel and roll down the hill. Yeah, because after rolling down the hill like that, there's no way you're just going to get out and swim across the river. By the way, his military is really great shots. Now Ryerson and Vasquez can only watch as Mac and Kate make it to Mexico. And Vasquez says he will destroy Ryerson. MacGyver's beginning to find its rhythm. We got more backstory on Mac, his Minnesota and scouting background, his I don't like guns policy as well. Overall, I give this one 8 rolls of tape. Now, from Central America, he heads to an island casino and channels his inner James Bond in The Heist. And right off the bat, we have a problem. It was directed by none other than Alan Smithee, which any film buffs know, that's a pseudonym when a director wants to distance themselves from a project. Let's see what happens. The episode begins with a diamond smuggler meeting Catlin and brought him $60 million in diamonds and was unalived for his trouble. And those funds were stolen from a senator's African welfare fund. So that senator sends MacGyver to the U.S. Virgin Islands to meet his daughter. Oh yeah, and before I forget, Catlin is played by Vernon Wells, an Australian actor who got his big break in The Road Warrior, was also in 1985's Commando as Bennett, and 1987's Inner Space as Mr. Igo, ultimately racking up 230 roles in a 50-year career. Mac arrives in the islands and meets the senator's daughter, Chris, who is played by Dornan Clark, who also starred with Richard Dean Anderson the year prior in the short-lived series Emerald Point NAS. The plan is to pose as a high roller and get a look inside the vault to see if the diamonds are there. Notice this subtle music cue here as a nod to James Bond. Mac uses an accident caused by a cocktail waitress and a lady who only wanted to talk to the manager. He brings a paperclip to her dress, causes some embarrassment, and makes off with the dice on the table. After making some adjustments to the dice, he returns to the table, but we never see the swap. Those dice work out well. He continues to hit it big, eventually gaining the attention of Catelyn, who then allows him to place a bid over the table limit. He hits it one more time and calls it quits. He has to take his winnings to the vault. Of course, before doing so, he swaps out the dice, putting the original dice back on the table and his loaded dice in his drink. Once in the vault, he talks to Catelyn. They make the return to the table where the cocktail waitress exposes the evidence. After a brief chase through the back halls and rooms of the casino, he eventually secures them and makes his escape. Once back at the room, ladies' man MacGyver's at it again. They then discuss plans of how to make the casino seem even more shady than it actually is to cause a distraction, to allow Mac to get into the penthouse. Mac arrives upstairs, temporarily blocks the view of the camera, and gets inside and removes it just as security arrives. Meanwhile, Catelyn has his eyes set on Chris at the roulette table. Once inside, Mac exposes the photoelectric beams of the alarm system using cigar ash. Problem is, that much dust should set off the alarm, and if that didn't, the tube he uses definitely should have. Once he realizes the diamonds are more than likely hidden behind a vault door, he gets an idea to set off the alarm using the bird. Catelyn is notified and immediately makes his way upstairs. Catelyn begins searching the room to see what went wrong. He sees the bird and blames security for leaving it out. He secures the bird, then goes back to check the vault, and seeing nothing was wrong, he leaves. But man, I'm telling you, that's some great security you got there, Catelyn. Don't even check the closets. Look where Mac was hiding. Now, while he tries to defeat the lock, the casino distraction plan comes into play. A magnet in his shoe deflects a ball on the roulette wheel, changing a man's luck. Let the riot begin. He was pissed. Mac gained access to the vault with the assistance of the bird. He then breaks off a lampshade of that ugly-ass lamp to use as a funnel to send the diamonds down the gutter. Just then, phase 2 of the distraction plan unlocks. With a marked card she shows to her playing partner. Cue another mad gambler. Just then, the clock goes off, the power goes out, and for some reason, that jackpot machine just started paying out because they put a magnet on the back of it. Mac uses that ugly lampshade to dump the diamonds down the gutter. Chris arrives just in time to get them into the trunk. Once it is filled, she secures the trunk and drives off in her own vehicle, leaving that for Mac. She decides to create a diversion and gets captured for her trouble. Mac is notified by Catelyn to meet at a park. Once there, that's not the final meeting point. It's an airport. They drive the vehicle onto the plane and meet Catelyn and are reunited. One problem is left: how to escape. She uses the marking ring, scratches Catelyn across the face, and they secure them on the flight deck. Only problem is now, the plane is climbing, and they're slowly running out of oxygen. Before they become hypoxic, they rig parachutes to the car and drive it out the end of the plane. Parts of this scene were actually from a 1972 car commercial for British Leyland Motors MG cars. And that's another successful mission by MacGyver. He got the car, the diamonds, and of course, the girl. Overall in this episode, I'd say diamonds aren't forever. Although this one did have its moments, I give this one 7 rolls of tape. So now, from the glitz and glamour of an island casino, we head to the Amazonian jungle in Trumbo's world. We have an opening gambit in this one, unlike the last one. He is sent to the Pyrenees to rescue a geologist being held captive. He creates a distraction by putting a water line on a fire to create a steam explosion, and then they flee. Mac, who hates heights, has a free rappel down a cliff face. He burns the rope to lose the pursuers, and then they hit the river, where Mac strings barbed wire across the water to shred the pursuer's boat. Brutal, but effective. Mac arrives in country and meets his friend Charlie, an ornithologist who's there to study why the birds are acting strangely. They head upriver to meet a local official who is supposed to give them a guide. However, he refuses, but tells them to go 2 days upriver to meet Trumbo. Wow. Look at the quality difference between background and foreground. Yeah, something fishy here. When they arrive at Trumbo's, they're greeted with hostilities. Trumbo, by the way, is played by David Aykroyd, who received a Master's of Fine Arts from the Yale School of Drama and started his on-screen career in daytime soaps. He was a go-to guest star and played a lot of intelligent, professional, or upscale roles. After Mac fixes his water pump, Trumbo is impressed. In fact, so impressed, he offers to be the guide himself. He takes Charlie and MacGyver into the jungle, and they discover a problem. Soldier ants, and a metric crap ton of them. And Charlie, let me know, man, what kind of lens is that? You're that far away and you're getting macro quality shots? I don't think so. They hear screams from a nearby village and go to investigate. They find a woman trapped under a canoe. After they free her, Charlie goes off his own separate way and became distracted. Uh-oh. Bye-bye, Charlie. Mac hears his screams for help, and they get there, but they are too late. Some of the ants that were on the skin are actually just black coffee grounds painted on the skin. Oh yeah, one more quick note about those ants. Ants make noise by striation, rubbing their legs together. Even in large numbers in a quiet room, it'd be nearly inaudible to human ears. Ruiz makes his way to the dam to try to keep the irrigation channels flooded to slow down the ants. However, he becomes overwhelmed with the coffee grounds. Ants. And unfortunately, that's the end of Ruiz. Now it's on to Plan B. Fire. They make a flamethrower and fight off the ants. They use up all the fuel they had and have a short-lived victory and hear more ants approaching. They design a makeshift boom boom and an ant suit, and Mac heads towards the dam. Once there, he quickly lights the fuse and makes a run for it. Now, if you notice here, a lot of footage was used from the 1954 Charlton Heston movie The Naked Jungle. Just pay attention to the film grain. It's easy to see where it's inserted. Ooh, that had to hurt. Well, chalk another victory up for MacGyver, and overall I'm giving this one 6 rolls of tape. These 3 episodes had a little bit of everything, so make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next release. And let me know in the comments which one of these 3 you like the most. And remember, be kind, rewind.